So hi, everyone. Like it was just mentioned, my name is Megan Lambert-Sparent. I'm an assistant professor in the Communication Studies department. Oh, Anu, you're muted.
Okay, sorry for that.
It's okay.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Anuraj Dhillon, and I'm also an assistant professor in Communication Studies department.
And we'd first just like to thank the Center for Health Research for allowing us the opportunity to present our project today titled Struggling to Keep It All Together in the Pandemic, Working Parents Experience During the Shecess. This project was funded by the Center for Expressive Technologies. I'd first like to begin with our purpose of how we got to this project. Anu is an interpersonal communication scholar, and I'm an organizational communication scholar. And we wanted to combine our areas of expertise to offer a more holistic understanding of how working parents experience the pandemic while balancing work and life. This is not often done in communication studies between both of our sub areas of discipline, yet Anu and I kept seeing links between our work that deserved a partnership concerning experiences as parents during the pandemic. Additionally, we are both mothers of 2 children, and you could probably hear my baby in the background right now. And we're also trying to keep it together. So we essentially wanted to know how others were experiencing the pandemic, what relational maintenance strategies were used, as well as how others were, in relation to their personal relationships and job satisfaction. Finally, our investment in this topic was also based on our experiences as women and how COVID disproportionately impacted women, with 1.1 million individual job losses reported back in September of 2020, 800,000 of which were from women. And that disparity has only continued. I'm just using that statistic because that was part of our paper at the time. So with the prevalence of sex roles, where oftentimes childcare is primarily seen as a woman's responsibility, women may have been feeling overburdened, citing a lack of childcare as a reason to leave work. Therefore, we essentially sought to answer the following question: how have relational and organizational support facilitated working parents' work-life balance during the pandemic?
So to understand the role of relational support during the pandemic for working parents, we employ a theory of resilience and relational load. So TRRL asserts that individuals accumulate these positive emotional reserves or emotional capital that buffers them and their relationships from stress during times of adversity. Relational maintenance strategies encompass these routine and strategic pro-social experiences, some verbal and non-verbal actions and behaviors that help individuals preserve their relationships. And TRRL suggests that people who regularly maintain their relationships, they build this emotional capital, which helps them better able to manage stress and experience better personal and relational health. In fact, prolonged maintenance makes couples resilient, such that they perceive tough times as less stressful because they can draw from this accrued emotional reserve that they've developed over time and help them thrive during the tough times. Recent work, in fact, has found that more maintenance received from one's partner is associated with healthier regulation of physiological stress in terms of cortisol, less conflict, and better satisfaction from work-life balance. And guided by these assertions, we propose that working parents who experience this greater relation maintenance from their partner on a daily basis during the pandemic may feel unified against this stressor, and they may appraise their relationship as more satisfying. And they also might feel this greater self-efficacy to balance work and life better and perform better at work, which is why we propose a hypothesis which is stated on our slides.
So the effect of the pandemic on working parents' personal and professional lives really could not be understood without considering the support, or we often saw the lack thereof, from their workplaces, especially for women. As previously mentioned, women have been disproportionately affected by the pandemic. Many job losses have been a result of collapsing female-dominated industries, including, but certainly not limited to, hospitality, education, entertainment. But yet many women are actually opting to choose out of their work due to a lack of childcare or resources from their organization. And so we essentially asked the following research question as a result: how does sex relate with satisfaction from work-life balance? Additionally, working parents are dealing with many more challenges, but those who perceive a good relationship with their organization and the accommodations offered would likely report higher levels of job satisfaction. And so to better understand that, we asked the research question of how are organizations accommodating working parents' needs during the pandemic?
So we collected data from 271 working parents, and they completed an online Qualtrics survey, which contained items, open-ended questions, and items pertaining to maintenance strategies, satisfaction with relationship, job, and work-life balance. The inclusion criteria was that they must have been working during the lockdown, and they must have had one child under the age of 10 living with them. And as you can see, majority of our participants were female, though the disparity is not huge, white, heterosexual, married, full-time employed, and from California. And the average relationship duration of our participants was 8+ years, and most of them were married. Here is the list of all the measures that were included in there, including relational maintenance strategies, which was measured using the 7-dimension scale. But we had to drop 2 because the alpha cronbach reliability were not as good. So we resorted to positivity, openness, assurances, social tasks, and shared networks. And the rest of them are listed up there. I'm going to run through this because we are running out of time. Moving on to the results. So we used Hayes process models to test our hypotheses and answer our research questions. And as outlined on our slides, our data are consistent with most of our hypotheses, thus lending support to the tenets of TRRL, which suggests that working parents whose partners engaged in making their conversations cheerful, or who were disclosing feelings, or helping with household chores, or talking about family and friends, reported being more content with the relationship, job, and work-life balance. And possibly due to this greater relational maintenance, these parents might be less stressed or have had less conflicts, and in general, more positive emotions, which may have spilled over to promote efficacy in doing their job more effectively and balancing the situation better. Results also unfortunately reveal that women were less satisfied with their work-life balance, and they were also more stressed. Essentially, our results reveal that this second shift has not gone away. Rather, the pandemic has only amplified the impact on women. Unfortunately, Shecess prevailed among working women as well. And lastly, compared to other dimensions of maintenance, assurances had this weaker negative correlation with satisfaction from work-life balance. So the further exploration identified that sex interacted with the assurances to predict satisfaction from work-life balance. And we show it here with the moderating graph right here. So the interaction results reveal that for working men, higher assurances was associated with greater work-life balance, but for women, the effect was opposite. And such a result may seem surprising, but yet, as we've quoted the national data earlier, that women lost a lot of jobs during this time, and women were actually 4 times more likely than men to drop out of workforce during this time. So while assurances from one's partner may have been helpful, perhaps women felt more concerned with the growing statistics of job uncertainty among women nationwide.
So to better understand how organizations accommodated employee needs during the pandemic, we asked the following open-ended question. Essentially, how has your organizations accommodated your needs? And the following themes emerged. The first theme that emerged was a need for childcare, or need for care in general, and things such as childcare or healthcare needs. Additionally, another theme that emerged was flexibility, either to work from home or flexibility in hours worked. Additionally, we had quite a few responses that cited some form of like proper sanitation was a part of the accommodation of their organization, such as disinfecting surfaces in the workplace or providing the necessary physical like suits and things that they need, or masks and face shields and things like that. However, the largest theme that we did see, and this kind of aligns with much of what Anu was saying, is no accommodations have actually been made, and that has been very much so a struggle alongside this session. Additionally, in terms of job satisfaction, we proposed that job satisfaction would positively associate with satisfaction from work-life balance. This was supported and confirms previous research. However, one thing, because I know we're kind of running out of time here, one noteworthy finding was that how this potentially could be explained was this idea of feeling gratitude, especially during the time of the pandemic when so many other individuals have lost their work. And so what we saw was this idea of appraisal-centered coping, which essentially, measures your situation against other situations. And if you are feeling just happy to have a job at this time, that's going to be a helpful coping mechanism. However, myself, Dr. Dillon, and many previous scholars would actually argue that the prolonged use of appraisal-centered coping can actually lead to burnout. And so there's just only so much, if I could speak more informally, sweeping underneath the rug that you can do, that this coping mechanism would actually help you in the long term. But that would also require some future research, which is what Dr. Dillon and I are hoping to do.
In order to conclude, we found that relation maintenance strategies are pertinent to increasing relationship, job satisfaction, and satisfaction with work-life balance. But as we saw, that results also uncover this effect of disproportionate weight that women have been carrying, and this continued during the pandemic as well. And organizations needs to continue to strengthen their relationship with their employees, maybe develop some kind of reserves, just like in personal relationships, on an ongoing basis, by instituting certain policies which would consider their perspectives, maybe building trust, addressing their needs, such as lack of childcare, flexible scheduling, etc. Thank you for spending the time with us. Thanks. And questions?
Thank you for another very interesting side of COVID. So, so that was excellent. So we open this up for questions, and we have about 2 minutes for those. I don't see any in the comments.
Denise, I can see her hand up.
Oh.
Hi, Denise.
Hey, how are you? Fantastic presentation. Thank you so much. I'll try to be fast. I had 2 questions, actually. One, I wondered what happens when the intersection of race enters the conversation, but the second one was more focused on issues of class. One of the things I heard early on is that women, particularly in the hospitality industry, were experiencing an incredible amount of harassment. People saying things like, take off your mask so I can see your smile, I'll give you a tip. Let's earn this tip by me seeing your pretty face. So how does an industry assist in establishing a workplace environment that would be more helpful to women when the issue is really about broader societal norms and concepts and narratives around gender?
Well,
I would say, in terms of, thank you, Dr. Eisen, for that question, a really important question. I would say first, accommodating like basic needs as an organization, which we're seeing from our data is not even being met. So it's kind of like just accommodating childcare needs and healthcare needs, all the things that we previously mentioned that were infrequent. And so I think starting there, but then also then building in, like Dr. Dillon was talking about, this reserve of understanding the unique challenges faced based on social identity markers. And so I think it's starting bare bones with just the basic human needs, like Maslow's hierarchy needs, our lower order needs, but then also at contributing to what is impacting based on our social identity markers as well. And do you have anything to add there? Because I know that the breakdown based on class and race too was
yes. In terms of the race, we definitely think that race has something to play a part in there, especially also when we think about like cultural expectations and how they differ across races and across ethnicities and across cultures. Something we have proposed as a RISCA proposal, because we want to go further deep into this topic and see if there are like any interactions or intersectionality. How is it affecting the situation? Like, given our preliminary data, we did not definitely did not see across race, but being a person of color, I certainly have felt differently, probably from a lot of my other white colleagues out here. My experiences might be different from all of yours, given the cultural background or cultural, I would say, then not just the background, like the upbringing was more like taking on more as a woman. I come from India, and like still the expectation is that the woman take on most of the responsibility in the house, even while you're working outside. So that definitely would be affecting people who are coming from these different cultural notions, and that will play a part. And we are hoping that we can find more out about this information, about this. One more thing that I want to highlight here is also about the academic mothers. In fact, we did a follow-up of our previous study, and then we have interviewed 7 academic mothers. And certainly their needs are different. And hopefully we can answer Dr. Jane Lear's question that she posted, that what are the recommendations for Cal Poly? We haven't analyzed that data yet, but we're hoping to look at some themes out there. And certainly one thing that has come out is the childcare needs. All the working mothers, especially in the academia, do need childcare and flexible scheduling, because that would help us put forth. And that is one way that organization can show us that they care for us as a working academic. So that's all for now.
Thank you so much. Fabulous presentation, both of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, excellent presentation and great discussion afterwards as well. Thank you.